Hey guys, my name is Kaushik and welcome back to LetCode. So in a previous video, we discussed how to install the Flutter SDK and as well as we configured in the VS Code and we created a sample project where we saw the counter application, right? So this is the code base of that. So you can see the entire code base from this lib fold, and within this we have this main dot. So we are going to delete everything now and we are going to create a new project for ourselves in this video. Okay, so let me just give you a glimpse of what we are going to create. So I have casted my mobile in the PC, and here if I go, I have already created this one. So I'm going to make a tutorial on this particular video, that is deep AR. So here I have an application called face mask, just created, and okay, let's give all the permissions. It has some problem I believe, but it will work. Okay, so this is what the application is all about. You can see that as soon as it's recognized my name, it is going to give some like kind of Snapchat where you can have multiple effects. Like you can have this first one, and maybe like this, and like this one. Isn't it cool? So this is what we are going to create now. So this basically possible with the help of deep AR, and we are going to take a look on this, how to create these applications. Just a 30 or 40 lines of code. It's going to be like intermediate tutorial. Might not be best for the beginners, but trust me, it's going to be very easy. So let us see how to create or how to build this application. Okay, so let's go now. Okay, so first this is our main dot file. This is where the execution, all the execution starts. So before writing the code, we have to do some configurations. We have to get the API key. So let's go to the browser, and this is the camera deep AR. This is the package or plugin we are going to use today. And already we have all the sample code. If you just copy and paste, probably it's going to run, but we'll do some modifications and we'll check this code. Okay, but before that, of course, we have to get the API key from this particular link, that is this one. So if you click on this link, you have to click on this try the SDK, and that will bring up to this one, developer.deepar.ai, and you have to sign up and create an account. Once that is done, just log in with the same credential. And first we are going to create a project. So click on this plus icon, and it's basically paid version, but we are going to use the free, where it can have like monthly of 10 active users. But of course I'm not going to publish this application anywhere. This is just going to be in my local. So the 10 with the free version is pretty much fine. Okay, but of course we'll get some watermarks, but that's absolutely fine, right? This is just for the learning. So I'm just going to click on the get started, and here I'm going to give some name. So I'll just say like face underscore AR underscore effect. Okay, then agree to the terms and condition and click on this create project. And then we can say like what is the application. You can use it for iOS, for Android, for web, or for Mac OS app as well. So I'm going to click on this add Android app, and here I have to give the name, app name. Okay, so what we get the app name is very simple. Just go to your pubspec.yaml. So this is nothing but since we are from the testing background, I can connect this with our pom.xml in the Maven project, or the package.json in the Node project. Okay, I hope you can connect. So this is like your dependencies. This is typically like your pom.xml or the package.json. Okay, so this is my application name here. So I'm just going to copy this one and give it here, and then I have to give some app ID. Let's click on this. Where can I get the app ID? I don't think we need that probably. um okay, let's not worry, just we'll just give the same. I think that should work. Okay, so I'm just going to create the app now, and that's going to give me this Android app key. So I'm just going to copy this, and let's store this in our main file. Okay, so I'm just going to say like const, then followed by API key, and equal to this particular value. Okay, so that's it, we are pretty much done. Okay, so we have stored our API key. Now we'll just run our code. Before that, of course, we have to get the dependencies. So what we can do is uh, we can use this one, right? So go to the installing, and here you can see that this is the dependency we have to add. So let's copy and go to your pubspec.yaml. That will be this file on your project explorer, you can see. And after that we have to paste within this within this dependency. So it is a YAML file. Make sure you are going to make the alignment properly, or else it might not work. Okay, so that is how YAML file works. Even each and every spaces matters here. Okay, so we have pasted the value, and that's going to run this particular thing. Pubget, in the sense, it's like downloading the dependency from the Maven repository, or maybe from the node package. Okay, so basically it's like your the node where we used to download all those things, like npm, so node package manager. In Flutter we call this like pub.dev. So from there you can explore lots of packages. There are so many things available. Okay, so we are done, pretty much done with the installation, and this is the import statement. So let's copy this guy and we'll paste it in our main file. Okay, so that's pretty much fine. Now what we are going to do is we are going to create a class first. Before that we need a main method, so we can take the example from here. So this is how the main should, so execution starts from the main, and we'll just replace this line. Yeah, so void main, in the sense, this is where the dart programming starts the execution run up, and this is like my app. That is basically nothing but a class. We are going to create that. So you can use this like STFL, that is shortcut to generate the snippet. And here I'm just going to say like my app. So what I have done here is basically a class with my app name, and that's going to extend stateful widget. So there are two types of classes we mostly use. One is state place. That means if you don't want to do any changes on the UI, like on click we want to change something, then we have to go with the stateful widget. So that is going to render the UI for each and every action. If you don't want to get so much of render, probably you can use the stateless. But for our learning, we are going to for particular this app, we are going to use the stateful widget. Okay, okay, and then you can see that it's overridden. Then it's stating like create state, and it's basically created another class, that is my state app. And here also we have to override, and that's going to return as a widget. In Flutter most of the things are like your widget. So it's probably like everything on Flutter is a widget. Okay, so the import statement should go first. That is the only error we are getting. So let's copy and paste over here once again. As soon as I save, this is going, because I have configured my VS Code in such a way that it will do all the auto imports. Since I'm not using this package, it's throwing me error, but it will just, we can ignore it, right? Okay, now first of all what we are going to do is we are going to return a material app. So what is material app? Material app is basically the it gives the UI and look and feel of Android. If you wanted to use, probably you can use some. For iOS, if you want to use, probably you can use something like Cupertino, I think, but we'll go with the material app now. Okay, and then followed by, we'll just refer the example. um, Okay, and within this we have to give some home scaffold. Before that, let me just pick this one. This is what I need from here. So we are going to create an instance for this, or a object for this. Okay, so here we can see now the import statement is working, this one, and this is the actual thing, camera deep AR controller. That is what we are going to use. Okay, now within the material app we can set our home. So home, in the sense, like what we want a scaffold. What is scaffold? Scaffold is basically, you can have like app bar, background color, the body, bottom navigation bar, the drawer. We can have so many widgets again within the widgets, but we are not going to use anything. We are just going to use the body, and within the body I'm going to use the stack. So what is stack? Stack is basically your, like, we want two or more, uh, how do I say that? So it's like stack in the sense on top of each and everything, right? So if you just go to this Flutter .dev, and if you go to this documentation, they have a very good documentation. Probably you can just check it out. So here you can see that we have for everything. So if we go to the basic, I think, so this is the app bar, and this is like column container, and then do we have the stack example here? So this is what I'm saying, the scaffold. This is a basic like your Android UI, and let's go for stack. Okay, so not this one, I think. Anyways, just remember stack is like your on top of anything we can have another children. Okay, so stacks allows multiple children. So here it's like children is basically can accept array of widgets basically. So within this children, what we have to do is we have to call this camera deep AI first, deep AI controller, and we are going to have like 3 callbacks. So let me just copy this one. So this is what we needed. So we'll just copy this one, Android license, and nothing much. Okay, so we'll just copy this one and we'll paste it over here. Okay, and this one we don't need, so we'll just delete this one. Okay, these are the 3 main things we have to give to the camera deep AI. So we are checking like on camera ready. So before each and every like whenever we open the app, we should know like whether the camera is ready, whether the image is captured or video is recorded. So for that we are going to use, and within that we have a set state is basically used to render the UI. So if you do any changes, it will just reflect the UI. Okay, so that is what the set stage means. Notify frame the internal state of the object has been changed. That means whenever there's a change, it will just reflect in the UI. Okay, now here we have to give our Android license key. So I'll just remove this one, and we have already stored that in a variable called Android key. So probably I can just call that. What is the variable name we stored? So that's basically API key. So I can just pass it over here. Okay, and then come up. That's it. Not here, so it should be here. Yeah, right. That's it. So we have given the Android license key, and for iOS we didn't generate, but I'm just going to use the same. That should work fine. Nothing wrong about it. Okay, so I'm just going to give the same API key for this as well, because we are not going to run on the iOS, so that's fine. Okay, and here we have something. We'll just tell this. I don't think we want this now, or let it be, not a problem. Okay, so this is basically the controller. Okay, okay, so the first basic thing is done. So we have configured our the camera deep AI configurations. But what we need is actually basically we need a UI where I can have a button, and once I click on the button, that's basically going to change the next kind of effect or the sticker we can say. Okay, so for that what we are going to do is we are going to use another widget, and that's going to be floating action button. Okay, so here I can say like um so why this is ending, so this is ending in this particular place. So here I can have another children, yeah, basically this plan. So this is your one starting, and it's getting closed from here to here. Okay, so after this comma I can have another children, and I'm going to use the floating action button for that. And on pressed we have to do something. We'll just print this as of now. So I can say like print, and I will say like tabbed. Okay, so that's it. Now let's go back, and we'll just run this as of now. Let's see what it's going to give us. But before running, this camera DPR needs some of the permissions, because we are going to access the camera from our Android, so we have to give the permissions. So if I go down, you can on this documentation, on the readme file we can get all the permissions. So first what we have to do is basically we have to create this one. Okay, and we have to create a file name called proga.android.txt. So let's go, and we have to create this within the where we have that in the build.gradle. Okay, so let's go, and if I go to the explorer, within this Android folder we have a app, and within that we have a build.gradle. There are two files, one is this and another one is this. Okay, so we are going to use this first one within the app. That is where we have to specify the things, if I'm not wrong. um yes, so not this one, I think. Release, do we have release here? Yeah, this is where the release is there. So what we can do is we can just create a file called this one, so prograd.android.txt file, and within this we have to keep this one. So I'm just going to copy and paste over here. Okay, that's fine. Now let's go here, and we have to specify this one. So I'm just going to copy this two lines, and we'll replace this one. Okay, okay, so that's fine. So we have given this one, so first step is done. Then second step, we have to give all these permissions in the manifest file. Okay, so you can use Control P, and you can go to manifest dot not manifest, it should be Android manifest dot xml. So go there, and after this application, maybe, yeah, after this metadata we can just give this entire thing. So this is basically user permissions. We are getting the permissions from the user, like the phone, the camera, and autofocus, each and everything. Okay, so right click, and we have format. Okay, we don't have any format option here, but that's fine. So it's XML from file, so no problem. We can have like, alignment doesn't really matter, so it matters only for the YAML file. Okay, so let's close it. I think we are pretty much done. And if you are running on the iOS, probably you have to do something changes on this particular file. But for iOS mobile application development, you need a Mac. Without Mac you cannot do it. Okay, so let's go back to the run here. So I'm just going to click on this run. Let's see what we have first. Hopefully it should run actually, but let's see. Okay, this code is basically using the Dart programming language, which is very similar to Java and the JavaScript, I think. So it's sometimes it's look like JavaScript, sometimes it's look like Java, but yeah. Okay, so we have some problem here. So it says like we have done some mistake on the manifest file, I believe. So let's go to the Android manifest, and we'll just delete everything. Okay, so we have to give this after the application. So here this one, and then paste it. Okay, so that's the only small mistake. So you have to give after the application. So when the application closes, after that you have to give all the user permissions. Okay, now let's go back and click on the run again, or we can click on the debug so that we can see the like instance changes. Okay, so let's see, in this time it should work fine, I believe. Let's see. So the execution starts from here. So the main method is like, Java, we have main method. So from there we are calling this function called run app, and that's going to run all the widgets. Okay, so let's go up, and again we have something problem on the manifest file, and it says that as the library might be using API. Okay, so here we have the SDK version problem. 16 cannot be smaller than the 19. So what does it really means is basically go to your build.gradle, and here I have read something, I just forgot. We have to make sure that minimum SDK version should be 19. That is the only problem, I think. So minimum SDK version, in the sense some of the Android version doesn't support this. So we have to make sure that whatever the Android version we are going to use, that should be above the 19, and that should work fine. The phone got disconnected. Let me check why. It's already connected only, but okay, the phone is connected again, and here we can see that we are actually getting our application ready. So which one is this? So my first app, this is the one, right? Yeah. So here you can see that as soon as we launch, we are getting like this allow. So that means we have to give the permissions to the audio, camera, and the file access. Okay. Could not open camera, this could be another process. That's okay. We'll just go and we'll open it again so that we'll get the camera access. This might be happening only on the debugging, I think. Okay. Now, okay, I'm not able to see my face still. Okay, it says that license checked failed. I know why it's failed. So what we have to do is we have to go to the build.gradle, and here you can see that application ID is basically this one, com.example.com dot my first underscore app, right? But there, while creating the API, we have given something wrong. So it's like my first Android app, right? So what we can do is basically, can we edit this? We cannot edit this. So let's delete. I don't think if I change the name there, I think probably I should change somewhere else as well. So I'm just going to create another one. So here I will give this, and the app name is basically this one, right? My first app. Okay, now let's create this one, and we'll get a new API key. So I can just copy this, and let's go to our main.dart, and I'll just replace it here. Okay, so let's delete and replace. That's it, pretty much fine. Now we'll just debug this again. So it stopped, I believe. So let me walk through the code first. So the main execution starts from the main, where we are calling the run app that is responsible to create all the widgets, the UI, everything. And that will call this class internally my app, and my app is extending to a stateful widget where we have to override this one create state. Okay, so that's going to create all the UI components, and within this app state, this particular class, basically we have given this deep controller AR, uh, camera deep AR controller, that's basically going to control all the stuff. And then within this we have it to override another function, that is build, where we are going to return the widget. Okay, now here you can see that successfully we are able to create this scaffold, that is the basic UI of the Android. And within this we have a stack. So what is stack? Basically it's allow us to create widget on top of another widget. For example, here let me just move it here. So you can see this round guy, right? So the round guy is basically what? This floating action button, but that is on the top. I want somewhere in this bottom. So what can I do is I can just copy, or else I can just let the phone be here. So what can I do is I can wrap this with a widget called align, ALIGN align. Okay, and then I can say like alignment where I want it. So by default it's in the center, so I want that to be in the alignment dot bottom, I think. So bottom right, we want that to be in the bottom right. So now you can see, but again it's very bottom. So I don't know how to hold this phone, just give me a minute. Yeah, I think you can see at least something that's going to reflect on the UI. Okay, so what we can do is we want this blue color button to be little have space, not that much on the bottom corner. So what we can do is we can just select this alignment or this floating action button, and we can wrap that within a container. So container will have default some spaces, and we can give some padding to it. Okay, so let's give padding, and I can say like edge insides dot all. So from all the directions I'm going to give like maybe 20. So 20, in the sense it will have some padding. so left, right, and bottom, right? So you can see that padding in this particular gap, right? That's it. Okay, now what I wanted to do is, if I click on this blue button, so this is the console, just check it here. If I click on this blue button, you'll get something like tabbed. That means our button is working. But I want the icon over there. So what can I do is, I can create a child for this one, and I can say like icon, and then I can select icon dot, probably I want like next button something. So we have next, plan, navigate next. Okay, so I want this one. So here you can see that we are getting some like arrow mark. I believe you are able to see that on the screen, right? Okay. Okay, now the main task. So what we have to write, we have to write the code to, so whenever there's a face, we want that specs, what we call that, coolers or the other AI stickers, like kind of Snapchat. Okay, so for that the code is very simple. If I go back to this current deep AR, so they have written so many things, but we are not going to use all the stuff. What we want to do is basically camera controller dot camera dr I mean camera dpr controller dot change marks. So this is what we want. So instead of this print statement, I can call that one. Okay, and here I have to say like 1. Okay, so if I give 1, in the sense it will basically, okay, let's remove the semicolon. Basically it's going to bring up the first one. So if I click on this, nothing happens. Anything happens as of now. Let's check once again. Okay, yeah, so we are getting this one. So we got this coolers, right? So what we have to do is, if I give now like 2, you can see that we are able to get another effects, right? So here you can see we are getting another effect. So this is how. So but what I wanted to do is, whenever I click on this button, it should give me like few other things. Okay, so we can use a simple loop here. So I can just say like for, and I can say the count. Basically I will just create a variable here like int count. I'll just name this like effect, effect effect count equal to 0. So it will be like 0, and then we can say like effect count. As of now I'm just going to give 5, or maybe I can just have like 7. Okay, so instead of doing this, I don't want to loop each and every time. So what we can do is, basically I can use this one. Okay, so effect counter, right? And then after this I can just simply increment the effect count. So effect count plus plus. Okay, so that's it. Very small logic. Okay, so you have to give comma to segregate the lines. Okay, and no semicolon within this callback function. Okay, so let's see what it's going to give. So first one, it will be initially 0. When I click on this, it's going to increment one value, and that should give something. Yeah, so it's giving me kind of all the effects. That's really cool. But after certain times there won't be any effect. So we have to solve that. So I'm clicking on the next, but it's not generating. So we have around like 7 for the free version, I think, free API key. So I can just write a simple if condition here, right? So I can say like, if the effect count is going to be 7, then I can just reset that. So effect count equals to 0. Okay, so I'm just going to reset, and that's it, pretty much fine, I believe. Okay, so here we'll have a comma, and the semicolon is not needed within this. Okay, so that's it. So what I have done is, we are checking like, if the effect count reaches 7, then we'll just make this at 0. So it will be from the initial state, or else it will just increment the effect one by one. Okay, so let's check now. So 1, it's 0, I think. Okay, it's not working. Okay, let me just reset it again. Let me hot reload again. And then if I click on the next, so the count might be already more. So that's the reason. So let's go and click on this restart. Okay, we are going to click on the restart, so it will leave all the state of this particular thing. Okay, so the app is restarted, so though the effect count will be 0 initially, I think. So this is going to be first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and this is the last one. Now it should make the counter as 0, and there will be like the first effect, right? So that's it. We are pretty much done with this particular applications. I think that's really cool. So okay, so we are getting the oh, I mean, yeah, it's doing something. Okay. Okay, so okay, this specs looks cool. Let me have it here as well. Okay, so that's it for this video. I think just let me quickly show you one more time what we have done. It's very easy. I know I didn't go in deep like what is this and what is everything. So it just uses the package, and I just created this application just to show you, because most of us belongs to the testing and we don't do stuff like this. So that is what I think. Let me give you just basic idea. Maybe in upcoming videos I can go little deeper, like how this widget work, or what is this actually, why we have to do the override, what does scaffold really means, and each and everything I can go deep, right? But there are so many packages like the dpa, there are so many packages available in the pub.dev. You can just go and navigate, maybe based on the name itself you can identify something. And trust me, it's really easy to build. Even though I do not know the dart programming language fully, I know only few things, like more of like it's javascript I can say, or the java I can say. But of course I didn't learn it fully. But the flutter, just a widget, that is how I learned actually. So that is why I'm sharing this particular tutorial with you. Okay, so um, this is the same thing, material app, in the sense we are getting the Android UI, and the stack in the sense it's like we can have widget one on top. So for example, you can see this particular button is on top of another one, right? So that is what stack is used, where it's have a multiple children's or child, basically it needs a widget. Okay, so here we are using this camera deep pair, and we have like checking like on ready. It will set state, in the sense again the UI will changes, the internal state of the application is going to change. And we are not using this image captured or the video captured, because I think that is not available for the free API key. But for the pro version or the paid version, maybe you will get that. Okay, and here um yeah, so this is the one. So we have aligned this because this stack will obviously keep all the widgets on the top, but we want that to be on the bottom right corner. So we are using an alignment, and here we are setting like bottom right. Okay, and then we have a container just to give some padding. Padding is basically the same padding that we saw on the JavaScript, the HTML, CSS, all the stuff. And floating action button is basically this blue color button with a navigate next. Just in case if you want to change the color of the button, you can say like can we do that? Yes, of course we can do. So here you can see that we have something like color, so I can call this one so color, background color, I think background color, and we have to call like color, then followed by what color. So we have to say use colors dot, and then maybe what is amber. Amber is basically something like yellow color, I think. Yeah, so you can see this is the hot reload feature in Flutter. So whenever we do write code, we can see the changes instantly on the UI. Okay, so that's a really cool thing I liked about the Flutter. And this is basically icon. So icon, the next, if you want something you can give it, like here you can change it. And on pressed is a callback function where we are saying that change mask, this is the actual thing, and we are using this effect count, basically simple if conditions with the incremental value. Okay, that's it, fine for this video. So I hope you have enjoyed something and if so, do let me know in the comments. And that's it. See you in the next one very soon. Tata, bye bye, take care.